We tend to think of ourselves as mental or rational creatures or beings. That is, we have the tendency to live in our heads. And by this I mean that we are capable both of using thoughts to analyze information, for example, but also to be used by thoughts when we think that they are beyond our control. For example, when we get stuck in regrets about the past or anxiety and fear about the future. But we are not only mental beings, we are also sentient beings. That is, we are beings with emotions and feelings, whether we recognize this or not. And forgive me for pointing out the obvious, but it is through the connection of thoughts and feelings, emotions, that you can seriously make quantum leaps forward with your English. Want to know how? Stay with me as we walk through this step by step. If you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and invite the bell to be notified every time I upload a new video, which will be relevant to you if you want to become proficient in English. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Tanya Meyer, and I'm an English as a foreign language teacher to adults, specializing in mindfulness practices to bring clarity, joy, and understanding to your English, because mindfulness has truly revolutionized my own life. From stressed, depressed, and overwhelmed to light, free, and confident within myself. And so it's my own experience of deep transformation that I bring to my interactions with everyone, including you, clients and learners. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we align thoughts and feelings to make progress with English? Well, the first thing we need to do is to acknowledge and accept that we can make quantum leaps with our English or with anything we desire by using the law of attraction and aligning our thoughts and our emotions. Therefore, we need to be aware of what our thoughts and emotions are at any given moment, because many of us are unaware of what we're thinking and what we're feeling in any given moment, because our life is made up of things that we need to do. And so we get caught up in the events, in the things we need to do, and we don't pay enough attention to what we're thinking and feeling. But it is precisely our thoughts and our emotions, and also them being out of sync with each other, that keeps us stuck in an unwanted situation. And trust me, I know all about feeling stuck in an unwanted situation. And it's taken me years to understand something that I could have understood in seconds, which is that by focusing on the unwanted situation, we unintentionally perpetuate it. That's how it is. In other words, if we are constantly thinking about our unpleasant situation, something that we don't like, because we're trying to think of a solution for it, then instead of finding a solution, instead of finding a way out, we are generating the prolonging of the situation. So if you have felt stuck with your English, no matter how long it's been, whether it's a few months or a decade or longer, the reason why you're stuck is because you have, intentionally or not, maintained your attention on being stuck, on being unable to make progress. The more you think about this frustrating situation, the more the universe understands that this is what you want, and so it provides you with more frustration. This is because the law of attraction states that, contrary to what we think, that opposites attract, it's that like attracts like. This means that similar attracts similar. I recently filmed a video on how to expand your vocabulary in English, and I'll leave a link to that video right here. And one of the resources I mention is using a thesaurus. A thesaurus is a book that groups words according to synonyms. Similar attracts similar. It makes sense to organize things according to similarity. Our brains understand this and tend to store information this way by making associations. We know that, right? So when it comes to our thoughts about English, we may have inadvertently been thinking thoughts that are not conducive to learning. Thoughts of anxiety, frustration, and anger, for example. By thinking in this way, our anxiety, anger, and frustration is nurtured. And this is obviously the opposite of what we want. Now, having said that, suppressing, repressing, rejecting, or ignoring our thoughts and emotions about English or anything else is not helpful either. We do need to be aware of what we're thinking and how we're feeling. And whatever that is, we need to acknowledge the thought or the feeling because it is a part of who we are. And so we acknowledge, we recognize, oh, my frustration, I see you. Don't worry, I'm going to take very good care of you. And then as an older brother or sister, we simply allow the thought or feeling to be there without paying a lot of attention to it either. In fact, once we've recognized the thought or feeling, we can then veer our attention towards something more pleasant. It's a choice that we have. The power is within us, but we do need mindfulness. In the classroom, English lessons usually contain fun elements. That is a game or lots of movement and interaction so that your associations can start veering away from anger, frustration, and anxiety towards more enjoyable, positive thoughts and feelings. But here's the thing. If you go to an English lesson and it's really fun and you've been kept entertained by moving from one stage of the lesson to the next or by talking to lots of people, without the opportunity of aligning the pleasant experience with the pleasant emotion consciously, that is, if you found the lesson to be fun, but you didn't make the intentional connection between the English that you practiced and the pleasant feeling, then that was a wasted opportunity to use the law of attraction at the service of your English language acquisition and use. So what do you need to do? How to align your English progress with positive emotions if you're feeling frustrated or anxious right now? Well, like I say, the first thing is to acknowledge the frustration. We don't want to be delusional and we don't want to repress or reject what's there, but we don't want to focus on it either. We can be aware of the emotion, acknowledge it, and then see if we can bring a more positive emotion to the current situation. But none of this can happen without the energy of mindfulness. Without the practice of mindfulness, we will continue to be unaware of our state of mind at any given moment. And it is precisely because we're unaware that the unpleasant situation persists. Is this resonating with you at all? Can you see what I'm saying? Click the like button and comment below with your own experience. How do you feel about your progress with English? Okay, so let's talk about what mindfulness has to do with reaching proficiency in English. Well, when we cultivate mindfulness, that is stillness and clarity, which is deeply enjoyable in itself, we're able to bring that energy to our English, not only to the vocabulary and grammar, but to our attitude and emotions towards it. And if your attitudes, thoughts, and emotions about English right now are unpleasant, then you are nurturing unpleasant thoughts and feelings towards English. But if you have sufficient mindfulness to be aware of your state of mind at any moment, then you will recognize that you're holding a negative attitude and or thoughts and emotions towards English, and you can try this. But first we need the awareness, right? So the first thing, once you recognize at any given moment that you're nurturing negativity towards English, the first thing is to acknowledge it. Oh, hello, frustration. Hello, anger. I see you. There's my frustration. I can't apply for the job I want. It's the fault of English that I'm not where I want to be professionally. Can you smile at that thought? Can you let go of it once you've recognized it? Just release it and bring your attention towards an imaginary, more pleasant situation with English. For example, can you visualize yourself interacting freely in English? Can you see yourself applying for that ideal job and getting it? What about moving to an English-speaking country? Can you see that in your mind's eye? If any of these suggestions brings resistance, like you don't even believe it, that's okay. You recognize the resistance. And so don't continue down that path because it's something that you yourself aren't believing. But what situation in English is one that makes you feel good and that you can believe? Do you see what I mean? In other words, what situation is more pleasant than the frustration you had recognized before that you can believe and that doesn't create resistance? That is the situation you need to focus on. So it's by aligning positive emotions and intentional thinking in a sustained way that your English will improve. I guarantee it. There's no other possible result than improvement in your English if you do this. Because our mind doesn't know if what we're thinking is true or not. In fact, most of what we think is not true. So why don't you create a mental scenario, many mental scenarios that are doable, that are believable? For example, of course I can improve my English. I already speak English quite well. I understand English a lot better than I did before. And my English has improved tremendously since I started learning it. Not only that, but there are many other things I've learned over the past few years, and my life is better for it. And so if I was able to learn in the past, I'm definitely able to learn now. All I have to do is see myself learning and making progress the way I have before. So it's not like I'm inventing anything. I'm stating the truth. This is something that I can believe. And so I can feel good about it. And then my English will improve and I'll make progress. Because now I've aligned constructive thinking with positive emotion. Try it for a couple of weeks, every day. Intentional thinking, positive emotion, see what happens and let me know. And if you are stuck, struggling, feeling anxious about your English, I would love to help. If you're looking to integrate English into your everyday life in a structured and independent way, download my guide, 8 Steps to Revolutionize Your English. Find the link in the description. And remember to like this video, comment your experience, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.